Good morning and welcome back again. Noha Bukar from Ankara. Jabir, we can't see you. Can you turn your camera down a bit? Thank you. Thank you very much. And Mohammed Kadi in Melbourne. So we are talking to across the world, I guess, from the US, Turkey, and Melbourne. So this is really just a wrap up for our event over the last 1.5 days. And I just want to quickly share my screen with you so that I can tell you what we're trying to achieve in this wrap up. Um, so the event wrap up. So what are we trying to do? We had the 4th annual Somali Australian Research and Community Symposium that was supported by Swinburne University, the IS4SI Research Group, in association with Somali Cultural Association and Bitcoin Technologies, Lahan Show, and ECAN supporting. So thank you all for your support. I guess very quickly, we went through very interesting 1.5 days, and day one, this is what we covered. Um, we had the opening with the help of Professor Sergeant, who was in Wollongong, who opened the sessions. We had Peter Lang, who talked to us about Somali telecommunication, and that was quite interesting. And in fact, his video is trending very well. And then we had the Somali community in Australian digital landscape discussion. And then we also, before the break, had Dr. Carlson from Melbourne Uni, who talked to us about the impact of cybersecurity on developing countries' economies. And then after the break, we had also Dr. Masita Anwar from Monash University, Department of Human-Centered Computing, who also talked to us about the Somali community in Australia's perception on digital identity. We had Hiro Sukahara, who joined us from Japan, who talked to us about the 10th anniversary of Somalia and Japan technology collaborations. Mohammed Al-Ghadi talked to us about how Bitcoin will solve Somalia's homelessness. And what I want to quickly mention is Mohammed Al-Ghadi and Noor Abukar and Jabiri, who's in the States, they got the highest votes from the Somali community who attended the event. Those were the 3 ideas that also the university communities also were talking about, saying these were worthwhile projects that we should really support. And the next day, it was only half a day, we had Zara Mustaf, who's a politician or inspirational, who wants to join the Australian Federal Parliament. And she talked to us about the Australian politics from the Somali community's perspective. We then had the second presentation, which is really trending very well since that day. Dr. Cheryl Saunders from the Law School of Melbourne Uni joined us. And she talked to us about a lot of things about the Somali challenges, and in fact, beyond Somalia, also the whole Horn of Africa. And I will encourage people to watch that video. And then after the break, we had we had Hussein Jabri, who talked to us about the water initiative. So that was really our 1.5 days. And now what I want to hear is the 3 projects that got the highest voting from the people who watched and joined us, the 1.5 day event, to give us their feedback as part of the wrap up. So we'll start with Hussein Jabiri, who will talk to us about his water initiative and why he thinks that it's useful for Somalia and how it can help solve the Somali water shortage problems and the drought. And then we'll listen to Noor Abukar and his NFT project and how that can help Somali artists with their NFT. And finally, Mohammed Al-Qadi. So in that order, we'll start with Jabri. Welcome, Jabri.
Thank you very much. It has been quite an event for the last 3-4 days we had. And I would like to summarize what Water Initiative now stands for. Could you give me the screen now, or?
Yeah, you can share the screen. Yeah, yes, if you want to screen share.
Okay, let me summarize. Water Initiative now is a US-based nonprofit organization focused on bringing clean water to rural communities in East Africa through installation of borehole water wells, community-based filtration system, and implementing water health and hygiene education programs. And our mission is to bring clean and sustainable water. When the idea started in 2019, all the people who started were volunteers who were working in the charity, in relief and development organizations. We wanted to change. We came up with this idea. We know that the structure of the water is very critical. The wells, the pumps, the drilling, the digs, all are important. But we were focusing was to strengthen the system, such as capacity building, working with the community to sustain the infrastructure. We partnered with members of the community, district commissioner, elders, religious elders, civil society. The whole idea was to strengthen the system. And on that, saying that, we were working on the concept of the sustainable development goals. If you remember 2015, the world leaders and the UN got together. They had a blueprint for to achieve a more sustainable future for all. And it was 17, let me put it back. It was 17 articles. The whole idea was universal call to action to create a better world by 2030. So they are all interrelated, but the one that we are focusing was SDT 6, which is access to water and sanitation for all. All the 17 are interrelated, but some of them, the outcomes helps what we're doing. For example, if you improve gender equality, health, all that, the outcome helps that. So what is the SDT 6? It has 3 components: to ensure access to water and sanitation for all, to provide access to sanitation and hygiene, and sustainable water management. So these are what strengthens the water, not only the technical part, we said that it's very important, but these are also very, very important. And how we do this, and we say we do it through community model. We ensure that communities are involved from the inception. We train them, we equip them for sustainability, and all is done through the community. And global water crisis, to sum it up, it's not a new issue. The statistics have been there around for a long time, and we are not the first people to talk about them. Decades of work and billions of dollars have been dedicated to breaking the global cycle of poverty via access to drinking water. This work supporting development opportunities in low and middle income countries is called international development work. So I want to go through the diagram here. The cycle of poverty created by water scarcity and lack of water. Systematic marginalization of communities who lack access to fundamental rights such as clean water and drinking, safe place to go. These families have hard time accessing opportunities for education, economic mobility, and healthcare. Without clean water accessible to water cycle, poverty perpetuates poverty perpetuation. So if you look at the screen, lack of access water can means hours wasted daily seeking water sources. The sources are not distant but dangerous. Daily water takes hours from someone's day, even still, that can cause poor hygiene and waterborne illness. This leads to poor health and hygiene. This leads to missing schoolwork and school and work. Missing school and work means lack of job opportunities and lower earnings, lack of economic development for communities. This is the cycle of poverty that perpetuates itself. So hope you can visualize that, how the cycle is interconnected. And the statistics is alarming. And if I go through just a little bit, it says, the numbers are here. 1 in 3 people around the world lack access to safe water. To put into perspective, it is about 2.1 billion people. That's North America and Europe combined together. When you talk about sanitation, 1 in 2 have no sanitation, toilet, latrines, 4 billion people more. So half of us walked into the planet, that's equivalent to that. So the water crisis is really very serious. And as I said, we are not the first one doing it, but we are doing into the community. We are doing from the ground up as an initiative that's very organic, very community oriented. And we have succeeded so far. In 2019, when we started voluntarily. We have achieved this goal. The day we dig this well, everything was done through voluntary. We call it the volunteers through WhatsApp group. We came to the location. We sold them T-shirts. Finally, they agreed. Even the digger, the rig that came to that day, it was a in kind. All we provided him was lunch and his fuel. All these people work for the Ministry of Health. They worked that day as a volunteer, and it was very successful. It was end of 2019, but 2020, when the COVID hit, we were having that problem. But fortunately, the state worked with us when it comes to COVID. They did a lot of work when it comes to, I could not understand the amount of contribution they made to awareness and campaigns, and they were very helpful. Even though the COVID had halted everything, but the campaign aspect of health and sanitation was way, way, way up. So all in all, I would like to summarize that. And I want to thank the university that offered us this platform, but we will continue working together and we will partner in sustaining the sustainable development goals and the way it's linked to our cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jabir. We'll continue, and I think we'll go to Noah again. And as long as we remember, we have 2 minutes each. So thank you very much, Noah. Over to you.
Okay, I'd like to say thank you to Swinburne University, firstly, for arranging this and being part of this. I'd like to say thank you, Mohammed, as well, for hosting such a great event, and for everyone that took part, my colleagues with me today. And I really just want to reiterate our initial idea of Lahansha and how we are going to implement it is primarily for social impact. So we see this new technology, blockchain, as a way to bring in new people, or people that were not involved into the international financial system, in this new decentralized financial system. Hopefully, this will be able to allow artists to monetize their work. Not only that, this is the first foray of blockchain into the Horn of Africa in a practical sense. There have been attempts before, but with NFTs, this is a quite simple yet powerful concept that will allow monetization for people that before weren't able to monetize. So I just want to take a quick look back at what NFTs are, in terms of, if we look back historically, this is a new type of technology. So there's a saying by Marshall McLuhan, the medium is the message. So in this modern time with digitalization, non-fungible tokens, we are essentially making digital work scarce and monetizing something that wasn't able to be monetized before. The few challenges we will have is the regulatory frameworks that haven't caught up with this new technology. And this is something we want to work closely with whoever wants to help us develop some regulatory frameworks for this new technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Noah. And I know it's getting very late for you, so we won't keep you very long. Mohammed Al-Ghadi, who's also in Melbourne with me, and it's early in the morning, beautiful Melbourne day. I don't know whether you can see through the window, but Mohammed, over to you. 2 minutes. Tell us why Bitcoin can solve Somali's homelessness. We're all excited about this. So if you can tell us in a summary as part of the wrap-up, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for hosting this great opportunity and the like. Thank you for the panel that have come on board with their brilliant ideas. Thank you for Swinburne University for giving us the opportunity to showcase our ideas. So all in all, look, this presentation was solely just for educational purposes. As I'm not a financial advisor, the idea is just for entertainment and further research development. So Bitcoin technology. So it has been an idea that's been rolling with me for the last 4 years. I've actually landed in Africa and I've seen the scarcity of housing and opportunity, lack of opportunity or accessibility. So it did come to my fruition, changes needed. So our mission is to deliver sustainable, affordable housing across the board. It's a platform that will be accessible to people looking for affordable housing. The idea is that they don't get under-delivered. As a matter of fact, the idea is that they get security, transparency, accountability, and most of all, accessibility through the system. And my partner, Noah, as he's mentioned, NFT is going to be a really, really amazing space in the financial world. And all projects can be broken down to NFTs so that we can start tapping into rural areas or allow people to have access to this great idea. So all in all, what are we trying to achieve? What we're trying to achieve is to face some of the challenges that we're dealing with, which is property rights, sound knowledge of building infrastructure, affordable rates, general challenges of delivery, environmental impact, and scalability. And behind all those, the root causes to these are social and economic disadvantage, lack of opportunity, and lack of empowerment, and low level of literacy and numeracy. So the type of houses that they live in is not really ideal. And what we want to do is we want to change that framework so that people have a one-stop shop or very similar, accessible to education, affordable housing, and most of all, community empowerment. And all this can be done through Brickline technology. And we can roll all of this out through these NFTs, allowing communities to prosper, minimize the constraints that they're dealing with, scale it to other communities, and actually come up with a digital real estate solution. It can be really done quite easily. All it takes is a few minds to come together, a few politicians deciding the way ahead and not making the challenges even more challenging. And I do believe the community can get back on its feet and sustain and give opportunity to the ones that don't have opportunity. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I think that was a good wrap up. And I want to take this opportunity also to thank our sponsors, Swinburne University. I want to thank you, Jabir, for coming up with this interesting idea. Okay, go ahead, Jabir. Yeah, sorry.
I just so humorous. I just one last comment. I heard in the news, Australia yesterday they were praying for less rain, and in Somalia we have the opposite. We're praying for rain. So there's a way they can send that rain, all rain to us, because the drought is looming in Somalia. There's a serious problem coming. So it was funny. Some people were praying for less rain, and we are praying for more rain. So I want to convey that message to Australia.
Yeah, well, you're very, very observant all the way from the US. You're right. In yesterday's Financial Review, there was a small article. Actually, it's very interesting. Also, I noticed that for the Australian farmers, there's a saying here. I don't want to go into the detail, but they really had it very good for a long time. The farmers, it's just media. The headline said basically people were saying less rain. I guess the dams are full and what have you. But to be fair, we also had droughts here a few years ago. So the world is changing, the climate change is real. But you're right. In Somalia, we're praying for rain, but here people are saying the dams are full. We have to release some water, but that's part of the challenge. But I'm really happy, Jabir, with the idea you came up with, and good luck to you, and we'll support you. Mohammed Al-Ghadi, thank you for again coming up with a concept about Bitcoin and how that will help solve the homelessness problem in Somalia. Looking forward to see how you progress in hopefully next year's event. And Noah Abukar, what a brilliant idea to help the Somali artists, local artists, to move to NFT. This is, to me, I'm excited about all these three projects, and I'm sure Swinburne University will be keen on knowing a bit more about this as we go back, as time goes. Now, finally, I also want to thank the university, and I want to thank Cheryl Saunders, who's trending her video on Sunday, for her to find time for us on a beautiful Sunday morning to join us and talk to us about federalism and challenges of constitution. I want to thank other people who helped us with this, Fatumo in Nairobi, Khadija in Istanbul, and Hayat in London, and other people in the States. All of those people, it's through that, I suppose, community work that we can help our country, Somalia, recover from all the challenges we're going through. So we need to look at the big picture. We're not interested in the nitty-gritty local politics in Somalia. We see good future for our country. And with your help, with your ideas, I'm sure we can move forward and come up with better ideas. I also want to thank Hiro in Japan, who also shared with us our collaboration with the Japanese technology. There were also other ideas from Zahra, who's running for parliament in Australia, Burhan, so many people. In fact, there were about 14 people who contributed. There was Dr. Qasim from Monash University, Dr. Anwar, and so on. But I want to thank you all. Until next year, no, go to bed. It's too late for you, and it's too early for us. Jab, the same thing for you. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful for what you have done, and I'm also grateful for the Somali community who selected these 3 projects as the most potential projects that will help Somalia. With that, I want to thank you again. I want to thank you, Swinburne University, Melbourne University, Monash University. Until then, take care. Thank you. Thank you.